Don't bother me, I'm working. Don't bother me, I'm working.
Finally got you on here. And I
Yeah,
think
man.
I'm already recording, so we can roll.
All right, cool, man. Apologize for all the scheduling mishaps and all that.
It's all cool. It's all good. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my first question. Like I said, the age-old question. Can you really get started in real estate with no money and no credit?
No money, no credit? Yes.
Is that a real deal?
Yeah, you can. As long as you bring something to the table. In my opinion, you bring one of three things to the table.
Mm-hmm.
You either bring the time, the money, or the credit. And if you don't have the money and you don't have the credit, better bring your time. And you can do that by wholesaling.
Okay.
Yeah, you can wholesale deals, meaning you get like an asset, like a distressed asset, maybe a foreclosed home, for example, under contract for a real decent price, a low price,
Okay.
and you assign or wholesale your contract to an end buyer, like someone who's a flipper.
Right.
So you might get under contract for maybe, I don't know, 30,000, and these 30,000 repairs, but you know it'll be worth 100,000. So you tell this flipper, hey, I'll sell you this deal for $5,000, this contract, and he'll buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So is that something that you like teach people on your channel, or do you have any type of course, anything you offer to teach people how to do that wholesaling?
Yeah. Actually, we were having a call July 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a free call, by the way. So
Yeah, let me write that down myself. Look.
Yeah, it's a free call. It's actually one of my homeboys. I'm gonna be facilitating it or hosting it. He's gonna be spearheading it. But he does wholesaling and flipping full time. My bread and butter is mainly like buying a whole,
Okay.
like multifamily. But he's going to have an hour long. It's from 3 to 4 o'clock. He'll have about maybe 30 to 45 minutes of instruction, like how you can find these motivated sellers, how to do your contracts, and so you can get that middleman income, so that you don't have to use your own credit or cash in this example.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be to the point. I just tell people, make sure you sign in on time, because we're going to get right to it,
Right. And so you can have the 11th, right?
Yeah. Yep. So next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yep. And if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/100% finance, you'll see the information there, the call-in information, and some housekeeping rules, like place your phone on mute when you dial in, stuff like that. But it's completely free.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And also to my viewers, by the way, first interview here. So I forgot to introduce the man of the hour right here, the man,
Right.
Mr. Juan Pablo from 100percentfinance.com. So you guys make sure you subscribe to his channel and check him out, because I'm a student of his myself. So I'm learning from him, and I invite you guys to learn from him as well. So no problem, man. Yep. My next question I want to have for you is, do you have any like advice as far as personal credit, how to improve your personal credit? Because I know at some point you probably will need to use it to really get going in real estate. What do you think about that?
Yeah, most people don't realize that those three little numbers have a huge impact on your life.
Right.
Like most people don't realize that, man. A huge impact. It can determine what kind of car you drive, based upon the loan amount you can qualify for, which neighborhood you live in, based upon what house you qualify and what neighborhood, what interest rate, and even your kids, like the particular type of school district that home is in. That can impact your dreams of whether being a renter or being an owner. Not just for personal use, but for business use, it plays a huge impact as well. It can help you leverage more capital, because that's what I had. Like getting started, I grew up pretty poor. I didn't have a rich uncle, or didn't have a lot of money in the bank. So I'm like, all right, what can I do to bring something to the table? And so that's why I worked on like repairing my credit so I can leverage it.
Right. Okay.
And then you can use personal guarantees for like business credit, for mortgages, if you're doing commercial, so you get the best terms and get the financing quicker.
Okay.
But just to answer your question, we do have a do-it-yourself credit repair ebook, which is the ebook showing you how to repair your credit.
Okay.
It's a group call held once a month for question and answers. So we just don't sell you the ebook and leave you hanging.
Right.
We're actually on a call to answer any questions you may have. And if you can't even wait until that monthly meeting, we have a Facebook group for that purpose as well, that you can put unlimited questions and answers on there.
Okay.
But just simple things to repair the credit. Just dispute negative items.
Right.
Your credit score is really comprised of a few factors, like the age of your accounts. Having an account longer than 2 years is a positive impact on your credit. Having low debt to credit ratio, meaning the maximum limit relative to how much is owed. So if you have $1,000 credit card, Bank of America, have no more than 30% charge to it, like $300. Right. But having a low debt to credit ratio, that greatly boosts up your score. It's just some other tips and tricks to the trade you can do. But the most important thing is if you have negative items, derogatory items, or even inquiries, I say get them removed. That's a huge boost. Or even adding trade lines to your credit report can also increase your score as well.
Okay.
There's a lot of tips and tricks to it.
Okay. Now, how about business credit? Do you have to include your personal credit first in order to get that? How does it work? Like, you want to talk about that a little bit, the business credit?
Sure, that's a good question. Business credit, you can get it two ways, with a personal guarantee or without a personal guarantee. You can get it with a personal guarantee or you can build it. Getting it with a personal guarantee means you get access to the capital much faster.
Okay.
Because the banks or the credit card companies are like, all right, we checked out this guy's credit. If this guy's credit is pretty straight, I'm pretty sure that will correlate to his business.
Right.
You know, but they say, hey, this guy's personal credit is jacked up. How can this guy successfully manage the credit of a business?
Exactly.
So they won't give you that personal guarantee. So personal guarantee is like a sprint.
Okay.
You apply, you get consultation, you receive business credit cards in hand within 30 days. That's simple. But without it, now you can still get it independent of your personal credit. You can build it based upon the strength of your business. The only downside to that, it's more compared to as a marathon instead of a sprint.
Okay.
It can take you about a year to get financing, like minimum I would say about 50,000. But with a personal guarantee, you can get 40,000 in 30 days.
Wow.
And if you build it within a year, you know, it's all for personal credit. You have to build your paydex score. A paydex score is similar to your FICO score with your personal credit. A 720 FICO score is considered pretty good for financing, and for business credit, an 80 paydex score is ideal. That's what you want to aim for. But it can take you 6 months to build that. So within 6 months, only thing they care about with your paydex score is just your payment history. They don't care about age of accounts, debt to credit ratio, none of that crap like they do on your personal credit. The only thing they care about is your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? Do you pay them ahead of time? Do you make more than the minimum payment? That's all they care about business. You can max them out. They don't care about that. You can just create a business yesterday. You can just get a car for it yesterday. They don't care about that. They just care about your payment history.
Wow.
And so it takes 6 months to build that payment history up.
Okay.
So that's the only downside about business credit. It just takes a long time. But I always suggest to clients, if you have the means, the financial means, do both.
Okay.
But I always say, make your personal credit look pretty.
Okay.
So that way you can have like, this is my money team right here. These are all my credit cards.
Right.
And these are all credit cards. So these are not
no debit
cards. These are not, gift cards. These are all credit cards I use for my business. I have 21, and I use those just for the means of obtaining. They're all only use them for business use. I don't use them for personal use.
All right, that's something I just learned. I actually watched one of your recent videos, and I heard you were talking about only using credit for investments, and then use your cash just for personal purchases and stuff like that. And that's something I actually just learned myself. So, yeah, that's good stuff there. So, you actually need an EIN number in order to get that business credit, right?
Yes. There's certain things you have to do. It's called being in compliance.
Okay.
In order to get it. With the personal guarantee, there's less things you need to do because they're really leaning towards your personal credit. And when you get a personal guarantee, it won't show up on your personal credit unless you default. So if you don't at least make the minimum payment after a certain period of time, then it will report on your personal credit. But with the business credit without a personal guarantee, when you have to build it, it takes time to build it. Then you need to have a lot of stuff to be in compliance, like be registered with the 411 directory, having a fax number, having a 1-800 number, having a different office that's different from your home address.
Okay.
And of course, you can use virtual offices to serve that purpose, but it's just like a lot. It's like 20 different things you have to have to be in compliance. Yeah.
So is that also available well, obviously for businesses, but is it also available for real estate as well, purchasing real estate?
What do you mean? Is
As
it?
getting business credit, like if you get a credit card through business, can you turn around and go buy real estate with that same credit card?
Yeah, you have to be really smart with it.
Okay, 'cause I think you picked on it a little bit in one of your videos, but I wasn't able to keep up. So,
Yeah, it's somewhat of a system that I've created. Using business credit can be more expensive debt because they're credit cards.
right.
You have a higher interest rate. So with business credit, normally you get an introductory APR of 0% for maybe 6 to 12 billing cycles. So from 6 months to 12 months, 0% interest. So what I do is I convert the cars into cash, and I use that for just say multifamily investing. I use that towards like a down payment. And then after I own the property within a year, I do a cash out refinance, and then I pay off the business credit card. So in order to do that, there's 3 things I do when investing. I have to make sure it cash flows. If the property doesn't cash flow, I don't buy it. Meaning the gross rents minus all the operating expenses minus the debt service for my mortgage payment, my business credit card payment, there has to be profit left over for me.
Correct.
So that's the first litmus test. The second test, 100% finance, hence the website, meaning I got to be able to get this deal without using my own money, because I believe use someone else's money to have, to do business with, but use your own money to have fun with.
Right.
Right. So it has to be 100% finance. So that means there's no limit to how many deals I can do because I'm not using my own money. That's what it's about being an entrepreneur. Is leveraging yourself. Right. And then the third thing, it has to be built-in equity, or I have to be able to force the appreciation by how I manage it, and I got to be in a positive appreciating market.
Gotcha.
That way I can refinance and pay off that higher interest business credit card off.
Gotcha. Okay.
So once you do that, then you can do this all day long. You can keep buying properties left and right.
Okay, so to go right from there, then, what would you say would be the best way to get started in real estate, or the easiest way? I know me personally, I went SHA loan, stay in the house for 1 year, then move out and rent it out. Would you recommend that route, or is there a better way, or what do you think?
Oh, well, I guess to answer your first part of your question, get started, I say know your numbers. Okay. I think most people don't know where they stand financially. Like, if you don't know the numbers of your personal finances, how can you effectively manage the numbers for a business? And I think most people don't know that. If I ask people how much it costs for them to live a month, I don't know.
Right.
Or how much money would you like to make per month for this year?
Right.
I don't know. I want to be happy. I want to be comfortable. But none of that stuff is quantifiable. None of it is specific. None of it has a time frame associated with it. Right. So when I coach people, I tell them, all right, it's kind of like a GPS, right? Let's say I'm in Atlanta and I want to go to Virginia. I know my starting point is Atlanta. I know my end point is my destination is Virginia. Right. And then I'll say, all right, let me draft the plan to get there based upon my risk. Okay. Maybe I might want to say I want to get there as fast as possible. Or I might want to say, you know what, let me take the slow and scenic route. Or I might say, you know what, I'm trying to save some money, so let me avoid these tolls, and that way I'll take the longer route. Right. So that's the same thing when I coach people, like, all right, where do you stand financially? What are your monthly living expenses? How much money you need to make a month just to break even, so you can say goodbye to 9 to 5, so you can replace your paycheck. Right. Including everything from toothpaste to traveling to ties to taxes to tennis shoes, anything else you can think of.
I always tell people budget down to the Snicker bar. You know what I mean?
Right. So what are all your monthly expenses? Right. Right. Then I say multiply that times 120%, just to include anything you might oversee or forget, because sometimes your car breaks down. Right. You might not say that's a monthly expense, but stuff like that happens. Okay. Or paying taxes, you pay that yearly, you might forget, oh yeah, I do pay that. Right. So I just say multiply times 120% just to give you a buffer. So let's say that comes out to $5,000 a month it costs you to live. And then you multiply that times 120%, what's that, $6,000 a month? So now your goal is, all right, I got to make $6,000 a month in passive income so I can be financially free. That's the first thing, to be wealthy. Okay. And then once you get that number, And if you're real estate, I say minimum profit should be about $200 per rental unit, minimum. So you divide that 6,000 divided by $200, which is what I'm doing in my head, maybe 24 rental units. Yeah, whatever the math is, 6,000 divided by $200 per month should be about I say 24 rental units. Let's say it's 24 rental units. Right. Now you have something that's quantifiable, and you give yourself a time frame. Like you might say, I want to take this slow and steady route. I'm gonna do it in 5 years. Or you might say, you know what, I'm gonna take the aggressive approach and so I can get to my destination as quickly as possible. So you might say, I might do it in 3.5 or 4 years. And that's what I did when I started out. You know, I was like, all right, I wanted to have 30 rental units.
Right. Actually, that's what the question was too. 30 units, 6,000 divided by 20. So number 200.
Right. So my goal was I wanted to have 30 rental units before I turned 30 years old. And guess what? I was late by 6 months, but I still accomplished it. I had 30 rental units when I was 30 years old in 6 months.
Wow. And
that's what I suggest people should do first is like what Dr. Stephen Covey says in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Right.
Determine the end, have the end in mind. That's what you need to do. See where you're starting at. See what your end goal is. And then what I do is I help consult people on a plan to get there. All right, you want to be aggressive? This is the fastest plan to do it. Right. And then I base it upon what tools they have. Some people might not have a car. Right. Some people might have a bike. Right. They might have bad credit. Some people might have a plane. They got great credit and they got thousands of dollars in the bank. Right. And they might be able to get to that destination much sooner. So then I analyze what type of vehicle they have. You know, like, all right, you got good credit. You got this. So let's check out your income statement. Fill that out, which most people never done. Then fill out your balance sheet. And then we go over that. So I make them fill out a personal financial statement, print out a credit report, see what the credit is like. And because I do credit repair, I have a credit repair business. I'm like, yo, you can do this, you can do that, and do that. So that way you get better financing. Right. Okay. So I think that's the most important thing. And then after that, then we can break down and say, all right, should you go FHA? And I suggest to answer the second part of your question, yes, you might want to go FHA since it's a lower down payment. Right. You can live in one unit, rent out the other. That's the same thing I did with my first property. Okay. Yeah. And
let's see here. What do I have next? So should you keep going while we own that? Should you keep going FHA back to back if you can get it? Just keep going for that, or you think get some creative financing in there too?
Yeah, I would say creative financing. If you use FHA, because I like people to understand property management. Even if you don't like tenants, right? You don't like splits, and you don't like taxes, right? Then I would say, you know what, just know the business before you can outsource it to someone else. So that way, no one can jerk you.
Exactly.
You know the lingo as well. So I would say, get you a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex, whatever, 4-unit. Live in one unit, rent out the others. Get that management experience. Then if you're tired of it, outsource to someone else. But now you know how a business should be ran. Okay. Do that, and then I would say if you want to take the slow and steady route, you might want to use hard money for single-family homes. Right. But if you want to be aggressive and get to that financial freedom goal sooner than later, then I say go straight to multifamily. But you just got to make sure you're on your grind. You got to make sure you're focused on it. Okay. It's bigger numbers, but you can be more creative with multifamily, and it's easier actually with the financing. Okay. It's just bigger numbers. I prefer multifamily than single family now. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this: do you believe in good debt, bad debt type of thing?
Yes. I believe debt is similar to a knife. Right. Whereas a knife can kill or it can save life. Okay. It just depends on how you use it. You can stab someone. That's just like you using, like I used to do. I used to use credit cards to take a girl out to Applebee's. Right. I used to use credit cards to buy the new J's coming out next Saturday morning. And then, I lose my job. I'm like, all right, well, just charge it to the game. I guess I'm going to make a minimum payment. Right. Or you use it like a surgeon uses it, like a scalpel. But you have to be very precise on how you're using it. Okay. And that's why I think if you're using debt for business use, which I recommend, hence the website, 100% finance, then you have to be very precise. You have to be very precise with your calculations and how you use it. You got to know everything. Like, how much would your minimum payment would be? Is the interest rate variable or is it fixed? Right. If it is variable, what can it adjust to? What will be your maximum payment? When do you need to pay this off? You need to know everything. It needs to be like I said before, like a scalpel, like a surgeon.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. So if you want to use debt, be precise.
Okay. Now, what do you say about, because I'm a real proponent of live your dreams, live your life, do what you want to do, but in the same token, also be responsible when it comes to your finances. You got to kind of find a little balance in between. So with that said, what do you think about people going out and buying these expensive cars with the high car note? My thing is make sure you got it, but I want to hear your take on it.
I would say if you're not wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
and in my opinion, it's kind of I coined this as the PILE formula, meaning your PI has to be greater than your LE.
Correct.
Your PI is passive income, has to be greater than your living expenses.
Okay.
So if your passive income is not greater than your living expenses, then I'll say buy the toys later.
Exactly right.
Your focus should be your passive income replacing your paycheck. So that way, if you don't work, like me, for example, I don't have to work. I just choose to work. You know, I choose to run a website and do business because that's what I'm passionate about.
Right.
But if I didn't want to, I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if
Right.
I felt like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing I do is just check my bank account or check my mailbox for a rent
Right.
check. And that, to me, that's irreplaceable. Like there's very few people who can say they can do that, but there's a lot more people that can say, "Oh yeah, I can buy me a nice expensive car." Nothing's wrong with it. I mean, I have a nice expensive car as well, but I put my priorities in order first.
Correct. Okay.
I think the goal should always be become wealthy first and then rich second.
Gotcha.
Be wealthy, have your passive income, replace your pay off your living expenses, and then focus on piling up, so to speak, like increasing your means.
Okay.
If your monthly living expenses is $5,000 a month, back to the example, improve it to $10,000 a month.
Exactly.
Then that can afford that nice car you want. You know.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And this might be my last question here because I had a couple of them. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so do you recommend people buy their personal residence first? I think because you already mentioned the duplex, but say that they don't get the duplex or the whatever plex. Do you recommend they buy their personal residence first or investment property first?
I prefer personal residence first.
Okay.
But I do have friends that are in the real estate game who rent. They have a ton of rental. One of these guys, Steve, he owns, I don't know now, he's probably more, but last time I spoke to him was around 40-something rental units.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't own a home.
Mm-hmm.
And the benefit to that is he don't have that huge mortgage on his credit report.
Right. So is there a reason in particular why you recommend the residence first?
Just for home ownership, you know, the American dream, being able to own your own home. And I suggest, like you mentioned, FHA, so you can live in one unit without the rest. So that way you might be living in one unit for free.
Right.
While your tenants pay all your mortgage and even your utilities if you structure it right. That's what I did. Okay. So that freed up a lot of my income.
Right.
I was in the New York City area, and I would lease out my rooms to international students. Just how I first got started. Mm-hmm. And then I was just living there, and I was making money on top of that. I was probably receiving close to $5,000 a month in the summertime, but my mortgage was like $2,700.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And that was just off a duplex. And when I first got started, this is a misconception people have, like, you got to have money to make money. No, that's not true. If it is true, it don't have to be your money.
Exactly right. Exactly right. There you go. And
what I did is, I think this is John D. Rockefeller said this, that control is better than ownership, which is true. I remember in New York City, in Jersey City, which is close to New York City, I saw a 3-bedroom apartment for sale, including utilities, for $850. And my old landlord, she used to rent out her rooms to international students. So she taught me the business, and I rented out this apartment. And I slept in the living room. My couch was a futon during the summer. And then I rented out the other 3 rooms to international students. So I was making $2,100 a month off the international students, and my rent payment to the landlord was $850. And I didn't own it. And I told the landlord up front, I was like, yo, I'm the main tenant. Part of my job is I provide housing to international students. So you'll see different people coming in and out. But just keep in mind, you'll always have your money on the first, and I always paid her before the first.
Wow.
So she didn't mind it. So she might see a different person every month, but she didn't care because she was getting her money ahead of time.
Right.
No issues, no loud music, because these are international students, so they want to see New York City. They don't want to be at home sleeping, watching TV. So they're never there. The shower and the sleep, and that's it.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So you can get started. You just got to be creative. That's all it has. That's what it really takes. A strong desire, and just being able to be creative, and just figuring out what you can bring to the table and how you can leverage it.
Absolutely.
That's all it takes.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you there. Well, great, and that's a credible story right there. It's funny how these stories that entrepreneurs we can come up with when you want to make something happen. But I'm gonna leave it there. I ain't gonna make it too long. If you want to add anything, again, remind them of your channel, your website, and any other service you offer.
Oh, appreciate it, AJ. Yeah. So again, I'm Juan Pablo. I'm like, Drake's song "Started from the bottom, now I'm here" type of guy. Yeah, that's how I really started. I started out poor, and I really wanted better things out of life. And I would say, starting out, increase your knowledge and increase your network. Spend your spare time getting yourself rich in knowledge first. Read as many books as you can. Continue to follow AJ on his YouTube channel. You might want to check out some things I have. Listen to people's podcasts. Learn as much as you can and network a ton. Network with people who you want to become like, because you'll always become who you associate yourself with. And you're only kidding yourself. You say, oh, I want to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, or an investor, and none of your close friends are those type of people. Or if you say, oh, I want to make $1 million a year, and all your friends are making, I don't know, $1,000 a year, you're only kidding yourself. You become who you associate yourself with. So that's why I say read these books and podcasts, because now you're associating yourself with these people's material. You're associating yourself with someone else's mindset when you read their book, or when you follow their channel, or you listen to their podcast, and then their mindset starts to become your mindset. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, you mind throwing a couple of books out there? I always give them Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad. I run those to death. So if you want to throw some out there, feel free.
Yeah, those are staples, bro. Yeah. That's one of my top 5 books too.
Oh yeah.
Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Science of Getting Rich by Dr. Wallace Wattles, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey, 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. If you want some real estate related books, I would say Multifamily Millions by David Lindahl is a great one. That's all that comes to my head right now. I'm looking at my library right now.
Okay.
But none of them like really, really stick out that much. I think it's one book is called The Secrets of Solomon or something like that. That's a good one as well. I think it's called The Secrets of, let me see.
Okay.
I think I got it right here. Oh, The Richest Man Who Ever Lived.
Oh, okay. I heard of that.
He talks about King Solomon's secrets to success, wealth, and happiness.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good one. And my mentor's book too. I'll plug his book. Five Easy Steps to Financial Freedom by Dwayne Harden. Here it is right here.
Cool. All right. And then you want to throw your book in there while we at it?
Oh, sure. I have ebooks, but I have ebooks. It's called The Fastest Way to Financial Freedom, which I discuss these things, but in more detail. It comes with the material, for knowledge. And there are 3 ebooks on wholesaling, flipping houses, buying and holding. There's an audio book that talks about business credit and all this other stuff, real estate investing, how to analyze properties, how to find properties, how to get them 100% finance, how to analyze people on your team, screen them properly, property management, all that stuff.
Uh-oh. Well, it looked like we lost him. Oh, there he is. Okay. Hey, Juan. I don't know what happened. Hello? Can you hear me? Hey, Juan, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm sorry. Well, I guess they cut our interview short, but I want to thank Juan Pablo for coming. I'll let you guys know any further information. I'll plug his YouTube information on this video. I'll also plug his website and everything else. So thank you guys for watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing as always. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.